Chapter 3 discusses the types and functionality of various families. Some of the objectives include describing how a family's form and context play a part in its well-being, explore different types of families such as middle class, military, nuclear, multi-generational, and blended families, discuss qualities of healthy versus dysfunctional families, and understand the role that structure, resources, and coping strategies play in healthy families. Types of families. And again, we'll go through some of these definitions. A nuclear family, the core family unit of husband, wife, and child children. Once again, this is one perspective on nuclear family. We do see that a nuclear family may be a single parent home, other kinds of non-traditional homes. Sometimes this could be grandparents, aunts, uncles, etc. So a nuclear family, oftentimes we're looking at one specific household. But again, there are variations in terms of definition. Single parent family includes one parent, either biological or adoptive, who is solely responsible for the care of self and child or children. And so again, that could be a nuclear family, depending again on your definition. Same with a blended family, which is created when two people marry and at least one of them was married previously and has a child or children. Once again, this could be considered a nuclear family unit. The dual career family, both husband and wife or both spouses or parents are in the labor force and employed. A child-free family, families in which couples consciously decide not to have children or who remain child-free as a result of chance or biology. And once again, this could be connected or referred to as a nuclear family. Special needs or developmentally disabled children, and family with special needs or developmental diversity in terms of their child or children. And then LGBTQ families, they're made up of same-sex couples, potentially, without children or with children from a previous marriage, adoption or result of artificial insemination, surrogacy. There are a lot of ways that LGBTQ families can be developed. And again, they're not always considered same-sex couples, so just wanted to mention that. An aging family is one headed by someone 65 years or older. Once again, this could be a nuclear family, just depending on the age and stage of adoption or childbirth. Also potentially raising children from from a current generation. So for example, grandparent head of households who have legal custody of grandchildren. So again, there are a lot of different ways that an aging family could be established. Multi-generational families, they're made up of households that include a child, parent, and grandparent, and even beyond sometimes. A grandparent-headed family, as I mentioned, could also be considered an aging family or a nuclear family. But these are families in which children live with and are taken care of by grandparents, usually a result of parental divorce, substance abuse, neglect, abandonment of parental duties, teen pregnancy, some type of health issue, unemployment, incarceration, mental health issues, many other reasons as well. But these are just some that are listed in the text. A military family, these are families in which at least one member serves in the military. These families face special challenges such as finding support, making adjustments, and building or rebuilding relationships and a sense of community. And as I said, these can also be referred to as nuclear families and could fall into any of these other categories as well. Qualities of healthy families. Families in virtually all cultures exhibit the following characteristics: adapt to change, set appropriate boundaries, develop relationships through open communication, promote responsibility, express confidence in themselves and their children, and are optimistic about their future. According to research, healthy families exhibit the following characteristics: commitment to the family and its individuals, appreciation for each other, oftentimes including social connection, willingness to spend time together, effective communication patterns, a high degree of religious and spiritual orientation, ability to deal with crisis in a positive manner. So again, this goes back to adaptability, flexibility in regards to change, encouragement of individuals, and clearly defined roles. Understanding what issues to address and how to address them. These are also qualities of a healthy family. Not operating from an extreme cognitive or emotional framework, exerting the appropriate amount of energy towards matters, having realistic plans, and having a strong marital unit or parental unit. And again, that's when we're discussing families with children, when we talk about parental units. Growth-producing structure and development patterns. Healthy families are organized in a clear, appropriate, and growth-producing way. There's no intergenerational coalitions or collusion, no conflictual triangles, no deflection. And so these intergenerational coalitions are not the basis for keeping the family together. Subsystems, logically grouped together because of age or function, carry out the needed tasks. So for example, like children carrying out specific tasks, parents carrying out certain responsibilities. Negative feedback is used to bring individual units of a system back in line to create homeostasis, or that balance that we discussed before. Different stressors that we see in the life of the family, vertical stressors, these bring past and present issues to bear reciprocally. They're inherited from previous generations. Things like generational substance use may play a role here. Things like cycles or patterns of abuse. Horizontal stressors, these are aspects of life that relate to the present. They're developmental, unfolding, and at times predictable. Life cycle transitions, transitions from one stage of life to another, are horizontal and often predictable. Expected life stressors. Developmental stressors are things that are expected life stressors, things related to age and the aging process, things related to different stages of development. Situational stressors, these are things related more towards interpersonal factors or features. Unexpected life stressors, these are things that we do not predict. Happenstance, things that seem to happen randomly, circumstances that we're not, aware of or that we're not planning for. Things like the COVID pandemic. People were not planning for that before it occurred, and it just seemed kind of a random thing to happen that was a stressor that we had to deal with. Physical and psychological trauma, these are things that can be life-altering, life-threatening, destructive, can be life-ending types of traumas that occur, accidental injuries, other things of that nature, and then successes and failures. Prevalent stressors in families include economics and finances, the behaviors of children, insufficient time for the couple to bond and grow. And again, this would be in households where there are more than one, where there is more than one parent or multiple parents within a household. Communication with children, insufficient personal time, and insufficient time for families to connect through things like play and entertainment. Family structure and functionality, symmetrical or complementary families. Symmetrical, interaction-based similarity of behavior. Complementary roles are defined more rigidly and differences are maximized. So again, are we looking at similarities within individuals or are we maximizing differences? And then parallel, both complementary and symmetrical exchanges occur as appropriate. Centripetal or centrifugal families. Centripetal are moving toward family closeness. Centrifugal are moving away from the family. And so again, we can see differences here. And then cohesion versus adaptability. Cohesion is looking more at emotional bonding, and then adaptability is the ability to be flexible and change. Family cohesion and adaptability, each dimension has 4 levels. So adaptability, we could see rigid, structured, flexible, and chaotic. Cohesion, we could see disengaged, separated, connected, and enmeshed. High levels of enmeshment or low levels of cohesion in the form of disengagement may be problematic for families. The degree of adaptability and cohesion within families is dependent on their life cycle stage and their cultural background. Coping strategies of families. These are strategies of healthy families. The ability to identify the stressor. The ability to view the situation as a family problem rather than a problem of one another. Solution-oriented rather than blame-oriented approach. Tolerance for other family members. Clear expression of commitment to and affection for other family members. Open and clear communication among members, and evidence of high family cohesion. Other coping strategies of healthy families. Evidence of considerable role flexibility, appropriate utilization of resources inside and outside the family, lack of physical violence, and lack of substance abuse. The ABCX model. A, the stressor event that happens to the family. B, the resources at the family's disposal. C, the meaning or interpretation the family attaches to the experience, and then X, the combined effect of those factors. The double ABCX model, a theoretical framework for understanding how families respond to more than one event, and this is similar to the ABCX model we just mentioned on the last slide. This focuses on family resolution over time rather than geared toward a single happening. Orders of change. First order change. This is just superficial change. It's not as likely to produce meaningful and lasting positive change. Second order change results in meta change. New set of rules and behaviors is introduced. New types of behaviors begin to appear. So think of this as a deeper change rather than just that superficial change. It's a lasting change that we can see. Coping strategies for well-functioning families. Recognizing that stress may be positive and lead to change. Realizing that stress is usually temporary. Focusing on working together to find solutions, realizing that stress is a normal part of life, changing the rules to deal with stress, and celebrating victories over events that lead to stress or that led to stress in the first place. Implications of health and working with families. By studying the literature on family health, therapists can appreciate the multidimensional aspects of family life and how members influence each other's systematically. Examining healthy families is the realization that even dysfunctional families have areas of adequate or above average performance. All families have strengths. Exploring characteristics of healthy families helps therapists realize that health and pathology are developmental. Studying healthy families helps therapists delineate areas of deficiency and strength, and studying healthy families is educational. So again, chapter 3, looking at some of the definitions of how we see families, how we look at them, and how we understand healthy families and their coping strategies.